Hey, are you having a difference of opinions with your super fantastic teen? Well, I got to tell you, you are in the right place, all right? Because, hey, you might be so frustrated and annoyed and thinking, oh my gosh, would they just listen to me? Because you know what? It wouldn't be this hard. It wouldn't be this bad if they would just listen to what I'm trying to say to them. But why do they got to be so stubborn? And teens can be that, can't they? So stubborn. They want what they want. They want their way. They can only see one direction, one path. And you're thinking, wow, you know, I'm just trying to help you out here. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help you out so that it's not going to be, the path you're taking is not going to be that bad. That it's going to be a lot better for you if you could just understand what I'm trying to say. And then they don't, do they? Then they're so stubborn and they don't listen. They don't believe you, okay? And then you're like, oh my gosh. And then you're thinking, man, I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't even know what to do. So I'm glad you're watching today because you know what? I'm a teen relationship coach, Shawna Partlow here, and I'm here to help you connect with your teen so that you can talk about all issues, all right? Because you have to have a relationship with your teen in order to talk about any issue. And being able to communicate is, of course, it's a very important key factor in any relationship. And the fact that you want to communicate with your teenager, all right, you're in the right place because today that's what, you know, that differences of opinions, and that can be so real, so frustrating, so overwhelming even, that it's just like, oh my gosh, they just listen to me. But here's something that I want you to think about and I want you to remember, okay, that your teen, first of all, okay, you cannot ignore what your teen is thinking and feeling, okay? So whatever the issue, whatever, you know, that difference of opinion is, you need to let your teen think and feel what they think and feel, okay? Because it is real for them. And if they don't have a safe place to be feeling those emotions in, then they're definitely going to shut down and shut up and shut you out. And then you really are going to be trying 10 times harder to get in there and, you know, try to connect with your teen. And you're just making it that much more difficult. So you absolutely need to let them have their thoughts, okay, and how they feel, all right? Hey, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with them because you don't. And it doesn't mean that they're right, because they may not be, all right? It's just the fact that you're letting them have their moment of how they think and how they feel, okay? You just listen. You just let them say it. Let them have their moment, all right? And then the next thing is this. Unresolved issues do not solve themselves, okay? So if there is an issue that you know, as I'm saying this, that you're like, wow, okay, something's coming to your mind right now. You're like, wow, okay, this did happen, and you know what, I just kind of act like it didn't happen anymore, and then I just, you know, just shut up about it, just didn't say anything, but you can still kind of feel some of the tension there. It's not going to resolve itself, okay? You may need to go to your teen and say, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have, whatever it is, all right? But the fact that you're just saying sorry, but mean it too, okay? Don't be, you know, like a teenager yourself. Okay, whatever, I'm sorry. Okay, you know, don't have the teen attitude yourself. Okay, mom, dad, go to your teen and resolve what you can, all right, on your end, okay? Because, hey, you know what, that's being a responsible adult, isn't it? Yes. And you're showing your teen how to be a responsible adult as well, okay? So those two things so far, okay? Let your teen have their thoughts and their feelings, okay? And unresolved issues do not resolve themselves. So, because your main goal should be this, okay, is that you want to get your teen to talk with you, okay? That should be your main goal of, even though it's differences of opinions, okay, the main goal should be that you want your teen to talk with you. Again, not because you need to be right, not because your teen is right, okay? It's just because that's what you want to do in order to join and have a connection, okay? That's the goal, is getting your teen to talk with you, all right? So that's the main goal here, okay, in this matter of differences of opinions. Because sometimes a teen tactic, all right, is this, that your teen will push those buttons and make you so freaking mad and angry, right, that you're like, oh my golly, just get away from me because I can't even stand it anymore. Go ahead, do what you want, have your way, just get away from me and I don't even care anymore, okay? Because you're not listening to me anyway, just get away from me and go do whatever, I don't even care, just get away from me. That's a teen tactic sometimes, okay? Because most of the time, if you've been the parent that you've been prone to caving into whatever it is that they want because they continue to push and push and push instead of like, hey, what did I say? Okay, the more you ask me and tell me the same thing, it doesn't make me want to say yes. Or does it make you want to say yes? And that's why they do it, because it works. That is the tactic of your teen in these cases, because they know, oh, you know, mom's going to cave, dad's going to cave. You know, the more I pressure and push and you know what, they're going to cave, and they're like, yeah, yes, once again. You know what? Sometimes it gets even easier, but that is sometimes the purpose and the reason why they do that. Okay. So that's something that you might have to think about and that you might need to change. Okay. If some of the differences of opinions, and then that's what part of the pressure from your teen. Okay, so that's just something to think about there, because you will, you know, you'll want to change that at some point, maybe, and maybe not. I don't know. Okay, that's your decision. So something that I do want you to be considering, okay, because remember our main goal, your main goal is to what? Yeah, okay, get your teen to talk with you. So here's what you will want to do, okay? First, make sure that you are not in a defensive attitude, okay? If you want to have that be your goal of your teen talking with you in the matter of the differences of opinions, okay, you cannot be defensive. It's hard. I know. It's very hard to not be like, you know, annoyed and angry and irritated, all of those things. But when they're having this conversation and you have an opinion, they have an opinion, and it's not the same opinion, you have to step back, you know, be thinking, okay, all right, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be defensive. I'm not going to be defensive. I'm going to listen to what they are saying, okay? Because you definitely cannot have a productive conversation when you are defensive, when either one of you are defensive. But remember, mom, dad, you are setting the tone for the conversation, okay? So if you're defensive, right, they're immediately going to be defensive as well, okay? Because you're setting what the conversation's already going to be. So you cannot be with the defensive attitude, all right? Because again, that is definitely not effective. And then once you calm down, check yourself, okay? That's when you can check your teen, okay? And that's when you can be like, hey, you know what? I'm not even defensive here. So let's just, you know, let's just start over and let's talk about this, all right? Let's just talk about it. We don't have to agree, but you don't get to disrespect me. We're just going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do. See, so when you say something like that, you're setting, see, the tone, aren't you? You're setting the tone for the conversation, okay? And you're explaining what it's going to be. You're telling them, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this, and this is how we're going to do that. We're not going to get mad and angry. We're not going to get defensive. I'm going to listen to you, and you're going to hear me, okay? So we're just going to have this conversation because we're going to talk about it, okay? So that's a little scenario of how you can shut down the defenses. Then after you kind of do that, okay, check yourself, check your teen, check the conversation, okay, that's when you can ask good questions, not the yes or no questions, okay? Because yeah, then that shuts the conversation, doesn't it? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know, okay, you know, hey, good talk, glad we had that talk, okay. And then they go off to the room, out the door, earbuds in, and then that was it. That was the conversation. So you got to set the tone again. You got to set some maybe ground rules in the sense like, hey, we're not going to have the phone on. We're not going to have the earbuds in because we're going to talk about this. Okay. Sometimes it has to just be that blatant, or sometimes, you know, it's just in a normal conversation of, you're doing dishes or you're making dinner and you're having just a quick conversation. Okay. Again, you've checked your attitude, all right? You're calm. You're not making a big deal about it, all right? Because it's when you ask good questions, when you're cool, calm, and collect, you can ask good questions. And that is what matters, because that's what gets their brain rolling and thinking. And then they can hear what you're saying in a different way, okay? Because they're not being pounded with like, you need to think this way. You are wrong. You don't get it. You are dumb is what they start perceiving what you, mom, dad, are saying, okay? So asking good questions and, and then giving them some time to respond and think about it. They may not have an answer like for real, all right? But that doesn't mean that you don't ask it. And then you're calm. You're cool, calm, and collect, all right? So remember that. So then your next one is that, don't be pushy. And be approachable, not controlling, okay? You can't be pushy with your teen because sometimes they need a moment to have a conversation. Sometimes, with the differences of opinions, they need to not just have you be so pushy with them that you need to think what I'm thinking. You need to do it my way, okay? That's you being pushy. And you being approachable is, you're cool, calm, and collect. Once again, hey, when you want to talk about that, hey, I'm here for you. I know we have a difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you about it. Okay, that we shouldn't even be discussing this. All right, so that's that's kind of how you would say that. And then the not controlling. Okay, you absolutely cannot be controlling in that because you don't want to be controlled, right? Being controlling, you do need to be parenting, all right? But you got to watch that. Sometimes it's a fine line of you being controlling and wanting them to think the way you think because you're the only one that's right, as compared to, letting them think for themselves, but then you having conversations with them that helps them to think. Okay, and then this last one, because the last one is, well, first of all, before I say that, hey, if you're getting any value out of this, hit like, okay, hit subscribe, okay? So this last one is what I want to say to you is let your teen talk and process what is being said. So when I just said about not being controlling, okay, you need to sometimes let your teen process what the conversation is. So maybe you've had a little bit of a conversation and now it becomes maybe overload for your teen. So they need to go off a little bit, process what's been being said, okay? And then probably come back maybe a few days later and restart that conversation again. And again, it has to be, okay, you're not being pushy. You're not trying to control the situation. You just, hey, we're just going to talk about this. We're just going to talk about this, being okay with having differences of opinions so that your teen can see where you're coming from, okay? Because their brain is not fully developed. So then it's harder for them to understand what it is that you're saying. And sometimes it's hard for you to understand what your teen is saying and where they're trying to come from, okay? But you cannot understand them when you're mad, angry, frustrated, annoyed, not listening yourself, and you're just the stubborn, okay? So you have to really remember those things. So let your teen talk and process what is being said, all right? That's the last one. Because remember, what is the goal and what should the goal be? And that is to get your teen to talk with you, okay? Getting your teen to talk with you. Remember, that is the goal. And when you do these 4 things, okay, it will help the conversation with you and your teen, okay? Because remember, you don't have to agree in order to communicate effectively because again, the goal is to get your teen to talk with you. I know I repeated that a lot and said it a lot, but isn't that what you want the goal to be? Because when you have the differences of opinion, yeah, you want to be able to communicate and you want to be able to talk with your teen about it all. All right. So once again, hey, if you've got any value out of this, hit like. All right. There's definitely more videos, for you to check out on my channel here. And I will definitely be seeing you in the next video. All right.